Good call, Coach.
You don't trust the kids?
Nah, you just let that come through here loud. And
Yeah.
That's all.
I am ready whenever you are ready.
Laylee?
Yes.
All right. All right, here we are with Coach Dancy getting ready for the week against Alcorn. Just a quick opening statement. We'll take some questions.
I thought this past Saturday was first of all, it was a great atmosphere. Thank the fans, thank all the support, the people who came out and watched us. Thought it was a great turnout for our first home game. But overall with the game, I thought we made a lot of mistakes, especially when you're talking about offensively when it came to the penalties, the turnovers. So I thought we did a lot of uncharacteristic things that we haven't done in the past 2 weeks. And right now we're just trying to figure out a way or figure out what's stopping us from getting over this hump, because right now we're just too close to not be winning these games that we're close in. And it's my job to figure out a way and a why to what's going on, and I think we're going to get that done.
All right.
So what was Bethume Cookman doing on defense that was kind of giving you guys a tough time?
Actually, I think, like I said, I think it was more of us, because every time we took 2 steps forward, we took 10 steps backwards. Every time we got something going, it was either a false start or snapping or bad snap or a snap infraction that stopped us, and now we're in second and long situations, and at that point, we just don't want to put all the pressure on the Jared to make a play. So we want to just play good defense, and we'll live with a punt and play good defense. But I thought it was more of us. Of course, they put 9 people in the box to stop our run game, to stop the Jared. They had a +1 in there for him, and we just couldn't connect on some of the passes that we did attempt.
And talking about that 9-man box, it seemed like on a lot of the option plays early, at least, that DeJerick was just handing it off and not getting it. Was that just them, game planning, trying to get the ball handed off to the running back, or can you maybe talk a little bit about that?
They did a great job at putting 9 people in the box, and like I said, they added a +1 in the box, and that 1 was to account for DeJerick. So in a couple of those times, I think he could have pulled the ball and ran the ball, but for some reason he didn't, and they did a good job of stopping us in the run game.
Okay, go ahead.
No, good.
Go ahead.
Was that kind of the game plan they implemented last year in the second half when it came to stopping the Jared? So were you kind of prepared for them to do that when they came up?
No doubt, we was prepared for it, and when you see a 9-man front, you got to eventually throw the ball to get them out of the 9-man front. And when we tried to throw the ball, we just couldn't connect on some of the big passes that we wanted to get down the field, because if they had no safeties deep. So we had some calls set up and prepared for that. And like you said, last year, we watched the film, and DeJerick had a great half against them down in Bethume, and they was going to come in prepared, and I'm quite sure, they had film on us from the previous games as well as Tennessee State, because they did a great job with stopping, some of our plays that we love to run offensively. And like I said, man, I just thought it just went our best effort, and like I said, I take total responsibility for that, and we're going to get those things corrected this week.
Excluding the safety, your defense gave up 20 points. Again, another low-scoring game. Is your defense on the field a bunch right now? I mean, does it seem like are they just fighting?
Actually, they really were. They only played 57 snaps this game, so they really weren't on the field that much. I just think it's a testament to those guys. They work hard, they play hard. The coaches preparing well for what they're going to see each week, and I really thought that we gave them what they got defensively, because we missed at least 15 tackles that game, and if we don't miss those 15 tackles, they really don't get nothing but those 2 points that they did get, and those long runs were just uncharacteristic of us this whole season, giving up that many runs of that distance. And that's the thing we pride ourselves on, not giving up the big plays, stopping people in the run game. And I thought defensively we did do a good job at that.
As a defensive coach, and this school was a low-scoring game, 15. Is that the kind of game that you want You thought you was pretty much where you want to be, being a defensive coach?
Well, I want to score. You know, I'm a defensive-minded coach, but I'm now the head coach, and I want to score.
Sure.
Want to score a lot of points, but if the game is tight, I'm fine with it because I know our defense is holding their offense. But overall, man, I want to score, and that's our job offensively is to score the ball, and we got to figure out how to put more points on the board. And like I said, you know, never going to blame none of these young men. None of these young men is not the problem. They come in, they work hard. We just got to do a better job of preparing ourselves throughout the course of a week, and it doesn't start on Saturday. Start throughout the course of a week. It actually starts on Monday, doing the right thing, you know, going to class, going to study hall. We got to make sure we're doing the little things right because sometimes the little thing can stop the big thing, and that's the big things on Saturday.
You guys, go ahead, bro.
We both want to ask the question. So looking forward to this week, you guys are back on the road against Alcorn State. What have you seen from them on film?
Great football team. As you know, they've been the mecca for the last couple of years in this conference, man. And it's an in-state. We call it a state championship game for us because it's a game that can help us in a lot of different ways. You know, we need this game to keep an advantage in the East. We also need this game to gain a recruiting aspect. From a recruiting aspect, it can help us out in a recruiting aspect. And it's just a Mississippi. It's a pride game. You know, whoever wins this game has bragging rights throughout the state. So it's a big game for us, and we're going to be prepared for it. Like I said, I really think it's not the other teams that's really doing a lot to us. It's more of us, and we just got to correct the small things that we're doing, and we just got to approach this game in a better way, and maybe some good will happen for us.
You talked about the team stepping out of character, had identified or some identity going into with the first two ball games. Some of the things they did to step out of character from the first two ball games, what were they?
Just the penalties. I think it was we only gave up 6 penalties. We only had 6 penalties, but being penalized 6 times for false starts, I think that's very uncharacteristic of us. We gave up 5 sacks this game, and thus far we had only given up, I think, 3 or 4 sacks. So a lot of those things, giving up long runs on defense, we ain't gave up that many rushing yards all season. And I thought we played some great quality opponents previous to Bethume-Cookman. Take nothing from Bethume-Cookman because they are a good team. But I just thought those were the uncharacteristic things that we did wrong. And we just got to get right back to the fundamentals, and that's just tackling, catching the ball, throwing the ball, just the small things that football requires, and we got to do those things well.
You had some snap issues early in the game especially. What was going on there?
I have no clue. You know, that was something that never occurred throughout the course of the first 2 games or in practice. But what I can say, you know, the young man that did have the snap infraction, if anybody had seen his ankle the 2 weeks before, man, his ankle was big as a grapefruit. And the kid battled all the way through a whole game with Lamar with that ankle, and he's been battling that throughout the course of 2 weeks. So I don't know if that was an issue or played a part in it, but like I said, I would never blame that young man because he's a warrior for us. Shed Ross is a warrior for us, and I know this team is his pride and joy. He wanted to do everything in his world, you know, to win that game on Saturday. So, like I said, we just gonna get back to the fundamentals and correct those little small things that stop us from moving forward.
You get some receivers that really want the football. You're going to devise a plan to try to get them more catches.
Every week we're gonna do our best to get our playmakers the ball. That's what we do. You know, regardless of how the game goes, it's not a game that we're not trying to get those guys the ball. It's just the way the game goes sometimes, and you know, just we gotta find a way, man. And I you know, we're not far. We're not that far off. You know, we're right there, and just gotta fine tune some things offensively and sharpen some things defensively. And I think once we both put a solid game together, offensively and defensively, we'll come out on top.